was I went through and I saw what topics were on the test. And so I kind of broke it down for you. So if it's on that little sheet and it's on your math workshop, then I would go over problems similar to it. Okay? So that's the only thing you're getting. You got that little study topic in your math workshops, and that's it. I haven't decided what day next week you're going to have your test. I was probably thinking like Thursday, maybe. I like Thursday tests because then it's not on Friday, but you have all week to study. Okay. Now, let's look at the page that says homework on it. Some of this is going to be homework. Some of it we're going to do together. But my goal is that we do the hard ones together in class, and I'm going to leave the easier ones for homework, for the most part. Because if you get home and you don't know how to do it, guess what you're going to do? You're not going to do it. So we're going to do the hard ones in class, and I'm going to leave you the easier ones to do at home. Deal? Okay. No huffing and puffing and blowing the house down. The first of this paper is really just, some of it's a review, and then some of it you already know. You probably just didn't know you could use it in proofs. So, for example, number 1. If a proof tells you that angle 2 is a right angle, well, we know that a right angle is equal to 90. This is called the definition of right angle. So, if you have to use that, you know to use that the definition is right angle. If it says it's a right angle, then it's equal to 90 degrees. You know what this word means, supplementary. If two angles are supplementary, then they equal 180 degrees. But your reasoning behind it is called the supplement theorem. You'll see me abbreviate theorem. I abbreviate it to THM. Supplement theorem.
Did you go out all the way there? Did you go out all the way there?
Okay, 3. You know this one. You've been using it. All they did was plug in 15. Okay, you know 4 as well. They moved 12, but what did they use? Addition. Good. Okay. S and W are complementary. Well, if they're complementary, then they equal 90. That is called the complement theorem. And then this one, 6, is very similar to the definition. It is the definition of congruency. They're just using it for angles. So if they say angles are congruent, then when you change it based on the definition of congruency, you change it to the measure of angle P equals the measure of angle G. But it's still the same reasoning and its definition of congruency. Okay, I want you to try to finish this page. 7, 8, and 9 are just a review from 2.6. Try it, then check your answers up here. Try it first, though. Okay, once you're done, flip to the back. Some people from first period wanted their own paper to write these on. So if you want to write them on your own paper, you can. Alright, so I want to try 14 and 15. Then we're going to skip, I want to try 11 and 12. I'm going to let you finish 13 and 14 for homework. And then we're going to keep going from there. So I'm doing it on a separate piece of paper because I write big. So here we go. This is number 11. I want you to try to start off by yourself.
Miss Tina?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Melanie painting? Did she ever make it in?
No, and neither did Cesar Hurtado.
These are her photos?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay. Did you start off with the definition of midpoint? You were given that, but you weren't given this. Okay, so you have to use the definition of midpoint to say that they're congruent, but then you also have to go to FE equals EB, which is the, that's 3, which is definition of congruency. Step 4 should be substitution. I'm going to let you decide what to substitute. Do what? You should just do 3x minus 4 equals 17 and then solve it and you get 7. Yeah, then you're good. I'm not going to finish this, so this is unfinished, but I want you to finish it. So you should have substitution, then you should have addition, and then you should have division. And you should have gotten x equals 7. If you did that, start working on 12. I would use, what would you use? Huh? It's complementary, so it's called the complement theorem, which means the measure of angle S plus the measure of angle R. So you can't just throw in 75 and 3x yet. You have to say that S plus R equals 90. Now you can substitute them in. Once you're done, I want you to start looking at 15. So, we are skipping 13 and 14. I'm leaving those for homework. So you should have gotten 5. You should have had substitute, and then you should have had, what? Subtraction. Then you should have had division. Was that it? All right, let's look at 15. So, start off. Same way. This proof is only 3 steps, believe it or not. What do you see about the conclusion? What format is the conclusion in? Right, So, see if you can piece the pieces together based on this hint. Yes? So if you were using segment addition postulate, you had to say AB plus BC equals AC. However, we wanted AB plus DE, but instead of writing BC, you know BC is equal to DE, so just plug in DE in that substitution. Okay. There are 5 in this packet that we did not do. Some of you actually worked on 13 and 14. So this packet is your homework, the rest of it. And I might have a little bit of time at the end of class for you to work on it, but right now I need you to get out a blank piece of paper and this half sheet. We are only going to do numbers 1 and 2, and then I'm going to let you work on your homework. So I want you to start off with number 1 and see if you can figure it out. You do have to use definition of congruency.
You can put on the same one. Just do one first. You can try to. Almost one step. One more step. What's step three?
Not subtraction, because they're not equal to each other. But there's actually two ways I see that you could do this. I definitely see transitive, right? Cut out the HR, SC is equal to AP. But technically, someone in first period, she said, well, if SC is equal to HR, then instead of writing HR, I can write SC, which is what property? Substitution. So I see both. But the first one that popped out to me is transitive. So you use transitive property, which means AC is equal to AP, but your conclusion is given to you in this format, so now you have to go backwards and put it back to congruent, which is still definition of congruency.
How did we get through this so fast?
I feel like this class gets so much more ahead than first period. But we also have announcements there in first period. I had 7 steps in number 2. Well, the second thing I would put on number 2, if E is in the middle of DF, that's supposed to be a D. If E is in the middle of DF, then DE is congruent to EF. That is the definition of midpoint. Step 3, I would go ahead and take care of all of my congruency symbols. So I'm putting this one and this one in the same step. So DE is equal to EF, and CD is equal to FG. Well, step 4, you have to look at the segment addition postulate. If there's a segment, there's a very good chance that you're going to use segment addition postulate. So in step 4, I would go and say CE is equal, what's CE equal to? Based on the segment addition postulate. CE, which is this thing, is equal to CD plus DE. And EG is equal to what? EF plus FG. What are we trying to prove? We're trying to prove CE is congruent to EG. Well, okay, so that's the segment addition postulate, but isn't it also true? We don't know CE is equal to EG. We don't know this yet, but we do know that CD plus DE equals EF plus FG. We do know that. CD plus DE equals EF plus FG. What would y'all call that step? What? It's not segment addition because you're not setting 2 equal to 1. I would just call it the addition because we're just adding 2 sides and setting them equal to each other. Okay, well now, CD is equal to DE and EF is equal to FG, but now we can substitute it in, and instead of saying all that, we can just substitute CE in and EG in, so we have CE is equal to EG by substitution. We're almost there. We only have one step. What's the last step? What, Jay? I couldn't hear what you said, but definition of congruency. You just have to add the congruent symbols back because that's the way that the conclusion was given to us. Is that what you said? Okay, you're done. Does your brain hurt a little bit? Okay, I need you the next 10 minutes to work on your homework.